Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bold and the Beautiful official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. January 7 spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Steffy Forrester informed Thomas Forrester about Xander Avant turning up as John Finnegan's patient. Steffy instructed Finn to stop bringing up the accusation that Thomas was to blame for Emma Barber's gory conclusion, but she stood by Thomas and gave him assurances. Despite Thomas's significant errors, Steffy was aware that Emma's death was an unfortunate accident and not her brother's fault. Hope Logan questioned why Xander was causing trouble once more in Finn's office, so Finn entertained the idea that Xander could be telling the truth. Hope contended that even though Xander brought his hypothesis to the police, Thomas was exonerated. Still, Finn was concerned since he thought Hope deserved more when cared for her. Finn praised Hope's values and accomplishments before saying that she wasn't the right person for this detour to Thomas. Hope emphasized that, contrary to Finn's belief, she wasn't merely some model of virtue from Hope for the future. Hope talked about how Thomas reminded her that she was also a woman when Thomas appeared outside the door and listened. Finn believed that Hope was defying the stereotype of the virtuous girl and all that had transpired with Liam Spencer. Finn thought Thomas was only giving Hope what she wanted to hear about him. Finn said that Thomas was dangerous and pushed Hope to go after, stating that Thomas could be to blame for Emma's unfortunate outcome. After Hope departed, Thomas approached Finn about the overheard exchange. Thomas threatened that no one would stand in their way after he vowed he would never hurt Hope. Ridge Forrester, who was still worried about Eric Forrester's recuperation and if he would remain the same guy, was soothed by Carter Walton and brought Logan back at Forrester Creations. The conversation turned to Thomas, at which point Carter left Ridge alone to talk to Brooke. Ridge believed that because Thomas and Hope were adults, they should be allowed to date if that was what they want. It wasn't that easy for Brooke, who questioned whether Ridge truly thought she would set aside all of her concerns in light of what Thomas had done in the past. Ridge mentioned that Thomas had been acting well lately. After referring to Thomas as a transformed individual, Ridge maintained that his son was suitable for Hope. Following some tender moments between them, Ridge requested Brooke to consider what he had said. She assured him that she would and gave him a hug. Hope returned to the design studio in search of Thomas, but instead she saw Steffy. Hope then acknowledged that Finn had called to ask about her connection with Thomas. Hope informed Steffy that she didn't think Xander's story was credible after bringing it up. That was good to hear, and Steffy said that Thomas would need someone to confide in if these unfounded charges were made public. Hope remembered Thomas proposing, and she appeared thoughtful as Steffy pressed her to be completely in or completely out. Steffy believed that Thomas deserved support from someone after all the work he had put into improving himself. Therefore, she suggested he needed someone who would be there for him. On Friday's B&B episode, Thomas pretended to be in good standing and not want any trouble when he was back in Finn's office. After Thomas cautioned Finn against interfering with Hope's relationship, Finn perceived it as a threat. Finn angrily declared Thomas to be dangerous and pushed Thomas to tell what had transpired with Emma that evening. Thomas, however, cautioned Finn not to meddle in his family's affairs or his life with Hope. In a mocking question, Finn questioned whether Thomas would also drive him off a cliff and pondered what he would do if he didn't listen. Finn saw straight through Thomas and realized he was a nasty man, even if everyone else had fallen for his new and improved act. Finn swore that Thomas would never be with Hope as long as he lived. Keep checking back for updates on all the mayhem that's developing, since spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Thomas and Finn's quarrel will cause striking, and the lovely show that watchers need to know why Xander Avant was taken back to censure Thomas Forrester and bring up issues about his capacity to be make-up. The program is helping watchers to remember Thomas' detestable foundation and voicing stresses over his conceivable cooperation in Emma Stylist's accident. John Finnegan has been cautioning Trust Logan, Annika Noel, about Thomas' awful way of behaving since he doesn't think he has changed. Normally, since Thomas has asked about getting married, Trust also seems uncomfortable. Despite the fact that Trust dismissed Thomas and accepted his commitment that he comprehended, she presently has more reason to worry with his fixation transforming into an issue again. Trust might have seen that Thomas' fanatical propensities could take over on the grounds that the idea emerged so rapidly and didn't seem ok. Trust could be worried about expected outcomes on the off chance that she can't acknowledge the ring and focus on Thomas as he is trusting. In the meantime, Trust has made it clear endlessly time again that she thinks Thomas has improved. Trust has another side that respects Thomas' responsibility and expectations, but this time around, adoration is better. Sadly, without scrutinizing Thomas, Trust can't decide with conviction on the off chance that he has really accomplished salvation. Could that really be the primary focal point of this Stander-related plot point? It's conceivable that the creators of B&B expect to exhibit that Thomas has changed. There is just a single method for achieving it, and it will cause Thomas a lot of sorrow. Assuming expectation stays with Thomas and satisfies his most noteworthy objective, she won't realize what might happen on the off chance that circumstances don't pan out. Since Thomas has his ideal young lady, what occurs assuming that fantasy is taken? To get Trust back, the old Thomas would go off the deep end and carry out awful deeds. Thomas' recovery will be a joke in the event that he follows a similar course again. Yet, assuming that Trust makes Thomas extremely upset, and he responds in a sound manner, that is a totally separate matter. What occurs assuming expectation dumps Thomas, and all that remains is his annihilation? Trust will realize she can trust Thomas' contrition if, similar to every other person, he wails into a 16 ounces of frozen yogurt subsequent to parting from her. Put another way, Trust and Thomas short-parted could have been ideal for their relationship. Maybe Trust needs simply fire Thomas and watch how the aftermath unfurls. Assuming Thomas has genuinely improved, this might be the best technique for Desire to observe it. Remain back for refreshers on every one of the exciting bends in the road, as the strong and the delightful spoilers show that Expectation and Thomas are in for certain shocks soon. Steffy informs her brother that she urged Finn to forget about it and never bring it up again, and she gives Thomas the whole rundown on Saunder's charges at Forrester's design studio. Thomas is appreciative of his sister's support. He has done a fantastic job of reinventing himself, Steffy informs him. Emma had a terrible accident. It wasn't your fault. Hope describes how she took care of Emma, her intern, at Finn's office. We lost her far too soon. Saunder in particular agonized with her loss, but to persist in accusing Thomas, she tells Finn that Thomas was cleared by the police and queries him about why he is looking into this. Finn expresses concern that Saunder seems to really believe Thomas is guilty. Hope hears him say, "I care about you." While Brooke and Carter in the main office rave over how good Eric looks, Ridge isn't ready to get carried away. They have no idea what this treatment accomplished or how vulnerable his father may be. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.